Coming up in Born to be Wild, Sheila plays mum to a gang of baby red squirrels.
I mean, who doesn't love that?
Romaine uses superglue to help a grounded herring gull.
One of those uses for superglue that people are not aware of.
And Lorraine takes charge of Jack Sparrow, the tiniest orphan of the year.
You know, you feel quite honoured to be looking after a little soul that's so small.
Spring has well and truly sprung, and with the days lengthening and the sun warming the soil, nature riots back into life. In the trees and hedgerows, birds are laying and incubating. Scotland is home to more than 200 species of birds, from majestic eagles and ospreys to the more humble chaffinch and golden-eye duck. Nearly every native species seems to find its way into the National Wildlife Rescue Centre at some stage, and the team are always ready for them. The bird section is the busiest department at the centre, with injured, orphaned and even unborn birds coming in. All of these new admissions require specialist attention. Today, Lorraine, the head of the bird unit, is going to have to use all her years of experience to help one new arrival.
Well, I've got a tiny little house sparrow nestling and literally just a couple of days old. Jack Sparrow came in and he's literally just out the egg. I mean, we have had birds just hatch out the egg or come in as eggs, but he just hatched. So he was about as young as you can possibly get. Obviously, if I take him under my wing, which I'm going to do, I'm going to take him home, look after him at home as well. So I'll be taking that brooder back and he'll be in this room. So he'll be with me for the next wee while. Hopefully he makes it through the first few days, you know. I mean, I'm not 100% confident, but if he gets through that and we can get him through, it'll be brilliant, you know. And he'll just be spending the next couple of weeks with me. But now he's here, at least he's safe, and at least we can try and help him.
Sparrows may be familiar, but they're special. The tree sparrow is one of the UK's rarest small birds, and even the more familiar house sparrow has declined by more than 50% since the 70s. So saving little Jack is really worthwhile.
When you get a little bird like Jack Sparrow coming in, and you know straight away there's going to be a lot of work involved getting him through. You know, they're so young, he's so delicate, he's so fragile. So I really have to, you know, making a big commitment there to look after him. You know, you feel quite honoured to be looking after a little soul that's so small. And I'm just going to have to, you know, keep my fingers and toes crossed that he's going to make it through. You'll have to keep your wings crossed, eh?
Lorraine is facing a round-the-clock vigil to nurse this sparrow chick through his first few weeks. Another sign that spring has arrived is a change in the types of cases that the staff at the centre have to treat. In winter months, the majority of their workload is made up of injured mammals and birds. But in spring, the work shifts to the care of orphans, all of whom need the same level of care and attention that their mothers would have given them in the wild. And for the staff, that means a seemingly never-ending round of bottle feeds and baths. It's not just the bird unit who are accepting orphans. Over in mammals, the staff are excited. They've just had a call announcing the impending arrival of some other babies.
Red squirrels?
Really? That is exciting. Always good to get a squirrel in. Never mind 3.
Keep me busy.
Definitely excited for the baby squirrels. They're just super cool and super cute. So they're good fun. And if they come in dead tiny, then it's even more great.
Female red squirrels look after their newborn babies in a nest or dray high up in a tree. Lined with cosy moss, this nest would usually keep them safe for many weeks. But mother squirrels can't look after their young if their nest is blown down. So the best chance of survival for the triplets will be expert squirrel surrogate Sheila.
Squirrels was the first thing I ever hand reared. So, and I don't know, they're just so small and just, I don't know, they're just so cute.
They're arriving any minute now.
Can you say?
Everybody loves a red squirrel. So I think for us to play a part in, building up the numbers and saving what we can, it is a big must.
Scottish SPCA Inspector Nikki is bringing the triplets in from Killiecrankie, 64 miles away.
Hi Nikki, how you doing?
How are you?
Very excited to see you. Hello. So what was the full story then?
So the caller found them yesterday. The nest had fallen out of the tree.
Okay.
So she left them to see if the parents would come back, and then took them in last night and kept them overnight.
Right.
I think the last time she fed them was about 11 o'clock, so she fed them cow's milk with a little bit of sugar. So she said that they took them very well.
Some people don't think that red squirrels look cute when they're first born, because sometimes they have this wee kind of noble nose. I personally think they're very cute.
Having been separated from their parents, the 3 baby squirrels will need to be hand-reared.
Generally we get kind of about 10 a year, so it's not something that we get massive, numbers of. But the numbers that we do deal with, generally we have good success rate back for release.
So the first thing Sheila must do is give them the once-over.
Yeah, so they're about 3.5 weeks old. So they're actually not too far off eyes opening. Generally about 4 weeks when their eyes open, not too long after that they'll start to become a wee bit more adventurous. You can see even when I have them just in my hand, they're gripping on quite the thing. So it won't be too long before they're wanting to start to move around and do a wee bit more. They're a wee bit thin, but if anything I think they're just maybe a wee bit dehydrated.
Sheila gives them a drink of Lactaid solution,
Thirsty.
which rehydrates and flushes out the squirrel's system.
I always say that they're like wee humans, so when they're feeding, it's almost like they're like wee opera singers.
I think with red squirrels, especially for hand rearing, there's a lot of interaction involved, as you need to, once you get to a certain stage, you really need to get them nice and fit and really build on their agility. So the interaction between carer and the animal is quite intense, I would say.
I mean, who doesn't love that?
Ooh. Yummy. They're all boys, so I'll maybe have to put a wee marker on just to see who's who. Wee nutcracker.
With the boys identifiable, Sheila has the job of full-time mum to triplet red squirrels. The centre gets lots of gulls in every year. In high summer, they can have hundreds of juveniles at one time. Thankfully, gull season is a little way off, and head vet Romain Pizzi is able to apply his considerable experience to a gull with damaged feathers.
So this herring gull has broken most of the important feathers on the end of his wings, so he can't fly at all. And we can't really wait for 3-4 months to see if they're going to fall out and regrow, and that's too stressful for him. He'll injure himself here.
Romain has a tried and tested plan to get this gull back into the air.
Gulls are incredibly manoeuvrable, and this end part of the wing is important for the lift. So although they could glide a bit, they're not going to be able to survive with broken feathers.
Imping involves cutting back damaged feathers, leaving their roots still inside the bird's wing, while a feather from a donor bird is then glued to the root.
So all I'm trying to do here is I'm going to trim some of these broken shafts a little bit. They're really quite split, unfortunately. It's not at all painful because the feathers are no longer growing, so if you think it's like cutting your hair, so we're actually going to take a cut off piece of feather and put a little stent in the middle and then glue the two together. We are obviously taking feathers from a deceased bird.
Normally, you would want to imp a bird with feathers from the same species. But since Romain doesn't have any herring gull feathers, he's making do with some from another species of gull.
5, 6, 7. just get some glue. So it's not very complicated. What we'll do is that we're putting a little piece of wood inside the feather. So we're using that as a stem. So the little piece of feather that we're going to put in, we put that in and then we'll glue that on. And that will make it actually quite strong. Sometimes that's the strongest part of the feather. So one of those uses for super glue that people are not aware of. We just stick it down this broken shaft of the feather there. For a reasonable distance. Without gluing myself to the bird. So in small birds we can do this with cocktail sticks. In big birds you can do this with a whole skewer. You can use paper clip shafts. We can use a whole host of different things to make this work. I feel like Tony Hart. As you can see, you don't need to be a vet to do this. Many falconers will do this themselves with the bird awake, but this gull is not the most cooperative character. So we have one normal feather that's the wrong colour, as you can see.
So that's one feather successfully imped, and just a few more to go.
I think this is one of the more rewarding things. Such a simple thing that can give flight back. The bird doesn't have any pain. So there we go, that's coming along quite nicely. Now we get to the one that's challenging, because unfortunately this feather is very splintered and it might be quite difficult. Because the feather actually goes underneath the skin for quite a distance, we can use that little bit that's buried underneath the skin. It's still dead, it doesn't feel anything or hurt the bird at all, to fix this, which is great. Then just put a pinch on, getting super glue everywhere. Feather transplant with skewer sticks and some super glue.
The gull will need a night's rest to recover from the anaesthesia, then will be flight tested by Centre Manager Colin. If he's able to fly, he'll be released on site in the morning.
I think it's fine. I mean, there's always a chance that it doesn't hold or attacks these feathers, but generally, because there's no feeling, the fact that they've got some feathers is they start preening them and working with them as if they're normal, and if he flies, he can go. Oh, what happened? Hey, how are you doing? You hold your head up? You can. You look still a bit sleepy, but that means you're less likely to bite me. So I think that's quite good. Right. Okay, let's go and put you back. Tomorrow you can have your flight.
Head of birds, Lorraine, has been caring for orphaned sparrow Jack all weekend. And Jack now has a friend, a tiny blue-tit chick. And the tiny pair are sharing a nest pouch.
Little birds get on well together, even different species. And if they're quite gentle and they're not going to bully each other, then that's fine. And it's nice to have a little buddy team together, you know. Obviously, if they find themselves on their own, then they know something's wrong. And when they first come in, you know, they can't really hear or, you know, can't see at all. You know, their eyes are not open. So they're responding to like body movements and temperatures and things like that. So if they get somebody next to them, you know, then they know it's like being in the nest, and that'll make them really calm and sort of settle down a little bit.
Lorraine has cared for hundreds of tiny baby birds during her career and has turned hand-rearing them into an art form. And that means caring for them all day and through the night, something only an expert with years of experience should even consider taking on, for obvious reasons.
I mean, I basically just make a little sort of cage sort of thing that you can't get out of, and then, I don't know, I must have perfected it over the years to sort of semi-sleep and not move, you know, so I really am quite a still sleeper, so I'm just like, I really don't move my hand at all, you know, and if he moves, I wake up.
Jack the sparrow is surviving and getting stronger every day, but Lorraine has noticed a lump on his back, which is cause for concern.
I think maybe a bird has picked him up or something, and he's got this little, I don't know what it is, it's like a little spot. I don't know whether it's a little bit of infection. So I'm a bit worried about that in case there's going to be an issue with that.
Lorraine takes Jack to see vet Romain.
So even when he was tiny, I mean, he's about 4 times the size he was when he came in. So I'm just wondering what that is, you know. Oh my goodness, when Romain's checking Jack Sparrow, I'm really nervous, really worried about him. Because obviously you don't want it to be a bad decision. You don't want him to see something that's going to mean that he's going to have a problem and he can't get released. It was tiny when it first started, and then it seemed to be getting bigger. As he's growing, it's getting bigger.
So Jack the Sparrow was so tiny and very charismatic, but it was quite worrying because obviously with the size he is and this tiny lump, there's so many different possibilities. It could have been just a tiny little cyst and that would go away, but it could have actually been a major problem with his bones, and because he's so small and his bones would still be cartilage, I can't x-ray him, it wouldn't tell me anything. So it really was hit and miss whether it would be something simple and birds heal so quickly, it would go quickly, or it would be a complete disaster and we'd had to put him down.
You practically want to grab Jack Sparrow at his hand and say, no, he's mine.
Romain diagnoses the lump as a small abscess which needs draining.
Although the lump on Jack was really tiny, I did have some concerns that it could have been something much more serious underlying the little lump. I wouldn't really like to put them on antibiotics when they're small, but I think unfortunately we're going to have to. Sometimes if we do get salmonella, that will go in the joints and just destroy them, and if he's so small, that'll be over. So if you can do that, and then this is just, if you just clean it pretty much when you're feeding him with pevadines, it doesn't matter how many times it is a day, and we leave the pevadine on, it has some effect, and what will happen is the skin itself will heal over really quickly, so most of that yellow is now gone.
Procedure complete, Romain gives surrogate mum Lorraine antibiotics for Jack and aftercare instructions.
Like, you don't really want to give tiny little nestlings like this size any medication, you know, because they're so small, but just dilute it down, but it looks quite sore with his wee bit on his back end there, you know, so extra special cuddling tonight, I think. Keeping his little wound clean really helped, and you could definitely see it started to reduce in size. And as he grew, that lump didn't get any bigger, which was a good thing. And then gradually it wasn't even an issue.
The Scottish SPCA Centre is the hub for wildlife rehab across the whole of Scotland. Any wild animal that's reported to the charity is brought to the centre. This means the staff have to be experts in caring for everything from field mice to foxes to bats to badgers. But there are two species that take a larger share than normal of the centre's man-hours: harbour seals and grey seals. In the seal centre, the first harbour seal of the season has been brought in, and like every seal that comes through the door, it's been given a name. Meet Miko.
We got our first harbour seal in last night. It's quite early in the season, it's still been May, but yeah, he's looking really good at the moment.
Miko is probably just a few days old, as he doesn't have any teeth and still has a good bit of his baby fur.
He seems he's actually quite chilled out. He's been on his back and rolling around, and he's been calling out when I went and had a look at him.
Since Miko doesn't have his mother's milk to nourish him, Kenise prepares a mixture of liquidised fish milk.
This is his first fish soup feed. He's lactated. He is nice and hydrated, he's got nice spectacles, so now this is where we change him onto fish soup, so it just gives him more fat content than the Lactaid.
Like every orphan mammal that comes into the centre, Miko was given Lactaid when he first arrived.
It is a bit thicker than the Lactaid, so the consistency is a bit thicker. So what we'll do is we'll tube him, we'll just do it really, really slowly just to make sure it doesn't hit his stomach with a thud and then he just regurgitates it. Because it's not good, because you have to be careful that they don't inhale it. So yeah, we'll just take it slowly with him.
Seals are separated whilst indoors at the centre to help prevent the spread of seal pox, a herpes-like virus that's very contagious.
There'll only be one person working in isolation from now on, just to reduce the risk of cross-contamination coming in from the other two sides. So what will happen is they'll come in the bottom way, they'll deal with this, get all this done, and then it'll be closed down, and then they'll come in, they'll just deal with the harbour, and then that'll be it. We're just trying to reduce this wee one getting anything, because he's very small, so, and he is quite vulnerable. Aren't you, sweetheart? So I'm not going to wear any waterproofs either, he doesn't really need it. We'll just put a towel over him. Once his teeth does start coming through, we would just use a gauntlet. We wouldn't put a thumb guard or anything in. Oh, sweet. I know, I'm sorry, does that tickle your throat? Also, you don't put the tube down as far as what we do with the greys, because it's not that far to your belly, is it?
Harbour seals are smaller than greys and more delicate. This makes them easier to handle, but more vulnerable to disease and infection.
So he was found on a beach and he was there for 2 days on his own. No mum was seen. So he came to us from Skye. You okay? So he's had quite a trek, haven't you?
After a tricky winter handling big grey seals, a little harbour is a nice change for Canice.
It's so nice when you've been dealing with the greys and how difficult and stubborn they can be. And then you have little ones like this coming in.
However, because harbour seals are much frailer than greys, Miko's future is far from certain.
It's really, really hard to say with harbours. I'm not going to lie. They do go downhill really, really quick. The release rate of harbours, I would imagine, within any rehabilitation centre can be not as high as the greys, put it that way. So yeah, it is early days, so we'll just take it each day as it comes.
Canice will have to exercise some self-control to stop the seal becoming imprinted on her.
Obviously with this little dude, we do have to go in and give him food. But yeah, he's not going to be mollycoddled, I hope.
Katrina is collecting the recently imped Gull to see how his flight skills are developing. Early signs suggest the patient is feeling better. It's a good start. And with a little help from Colin, the Gull is given a bit more space to help spread his refurbished wings.
I'll see if you can use your wings. I've got one slightly longer than the other, but it shouldn't make a difference. A minute. So you needed. Well, that worked, and they've all stayed in place.
We'll know which one he is if he hangs around here then.
Yeah, he's the one with the wing off another species, yeah. Within 24 hours, remains restored the power of flight. And the advantage for us using that technique is that bird's dealt with in 24 hours. Whereas if we'd have waited for those feathers to regrow, it could have been a good 4 or 5 months. And he's stuck in captivity, so it's better for us and it's far better for the bird. And then what happens is when he undergoes a natural molt, the imped feathers will be replaced by just new herring gull feathers. And that'll be it, job done. It's almost ideal rehab for us. Come in one day, out the next. Minimum fuss, minimum handling, minimum stress. The bird's free again with a few borrowed feathers.
With so many gulls round the centre, it's likely this imped gull will stay in the area. Sheila has been hand-rearing 3 baby squirrels for the past 2 weeks. During that time, they've been joined by 2 more orphans of a similar age.
Sometimes I don't see it as playtime for me because they can be quite rough in their wee claws and running up and down your face. But yeah, just to have them out and about, generally they'll be running all over me. But I'm just trying to keep them moving, getting them kind of fast and building up their muscles, get them to jump from me to the next object. For other people, it might just seem like play, but it is serving a purpose.
As they're such a rare species, this is a great opportunity to keep track of the squirrels, which requires Romain to microchip them. And it doesn't make him very popular.
Right, ready for a little jump? I know, you shout and tell me how terrible it is and make us all feel dreadful. That was bad.
It's just really a way of trying to monitor the squirrels after release.
Okay, so this is a way of actually showing how long they survive.
While Sheila has some time with Romain, she takes the opportunity to raise a concern about one of the orphaned squirrels, who doesn't seem to be using his feet properly.
So is it one of her back feet or both back feet that
No,
she's
it's her
not?
front.
Okay.
Hook
Is it
on
when
her.
she's climbing?
Yeah.
Red squirrels spend 90% of their time in the trees. Flexible joints and tiny sharp claws mean they can leap through the treetops with ease.
Squirrels' grip, if they didn't have that grip, they're not going to be staying in those trees. So, so we need to make sure all their digits are really working perfectly to make sure they've got that full rotation as well. It's really important for their agility throughout the trees and just really being able to stay in the trees.
See if she'll let me have a feel. Has she fallen that you've seen or not?
Not maybe like before she came in.
Come on. Shh. Trying to feel the elbow because that's what can go wrong with animals that can't do this motion. Come on, you're being silly. It almost looks like she's got a cataract there. I might try and have a look at her eyes. With hand-reared animals, there's always a risk of them developing what we call a nutritional cataract. So they go through a period of stress and a change in diet, and they maybe don't eat well for a couple of days, and that sometimes can... There's a lot of things that can go wrong.
Squirrels are very aware of predators, and between their eyesight and obviously hearing, they really need to be quite on it to make sure that there's no predators around them.
Try not to have a squirrel hanging off my nose. So how still are you going to stay without? You're not going to stay still at all. How are we going to see your eye?
Okay.
Shh. This might all be pointless without anesthesia. I'll need to get really relatively close. Right, she seems alright from here. You've got a couple of options. I mean, I can anaesthetize and take some x-rays and see that we don't see anything obvious. You can give her some more climbing and see if she progresses. It's up to you.
I think I'll give her a wee bit more time and maybe put the other ones out sooner.
I don't feel anything abnormal with the motion of the limbs, so I think that's reasonable.
Sheila is hoping a week's rest will be enough time for this squirrel to join the rest of the group.
There we go. You're all right.
It's a day into his course of antibiotics, and Lorraine has been with Jack the sparrow constantly.
He seemed to perk up quite a bit last night, which was really good. And he's been quite vocal. He was keeping us awake last night as well, so that was brilliant. That's really good, and he seems to have grown so much, you know. I think his eyes are just starting to open just a tiny little bit here. Just a wee bit. So I hope that, you know, that's like when things will really kick off when his eyes open up and he can see everything as well. It'll just be double the trouble, eh?
Despite the centre's vet Romaine draining Jack's lump yesterday, it's still concerning Lorraine.
If it doesn't start clearing up or if it's causing him any problems, he's moving his legs really well, which is good. But if it is an issue as he grows, then he'll have to get checked again. Probably get it burst again or like cleaned out or something. But I think it's because it's near his bone, which is quite a problem, you know, and he's quite small. So, you wanting to get back or you wanting something to eat now? Anything? You don't want anything?
Poor Jack is used to getting a decent meal to eat, but whilst on antibiotics, all he'll get is a liquid solution. Lorraine will have to cross her fingers for now and hope the antibiotics kick in soon. It's the start of another day at the centre, and Manager Colin is doing his morning rounds.
I'm just basically opening up first thing in the morning. Both me and... Hi, Danny. Both me and Johnny come in half an hour before everybody else to make sure that everywhere's opened up, check around all the animals, and try and make sure there's no issues, and if there are, we can deal with them.
With so many animals passing through the centre each week, some of whom are in a critical condition, the morning routine can sometimes bring surprises.
Just going around all the sections. Just having a quick look in. Make sure there's nothing running around the floor. Yeah, that's fine. Making sure everyone's all right. When you have a water issue, like a water facility like this, you're obviously looking for something that may have drowned overnight or could be struggling in the water.
Sadly, this morning there's bad news in the seal centre.
I say it's good.
This is sometimes the sort of things you find in the mornings. This is Miko, the first harbour seal we had in.
Kenise told me last night he wasn't looking wonderful, but he's died overnight for some reason. So what we'll do with him now, the vet's in today, we'll get the vet to do a PM. Well, when I found Miko dead, that was just one of those usual morning routines of mine where I was just going around checking things, and sometimes this happens, but you look in the pen and you see the animals. Miko was just lying there, lifeless. And it's sad. It wasn't unexpected, and a lot of the time it isn't unexpected for us. You know, we did what we could for Miko. We knew it was going to be difficult, and yeah, in a sense, it's inevitable when you get to that stage and you think, well, at least it's over for him now. He's not suffering anymore. We couldn't do any more than we'd done.
A post-mortem will reveal the reason for Miko passing away, and will give Colin and his team vital information so that they can continue to improve the care that the seals receive at the centre.
We've all got to face it, we've all got to put up with it, and quite often things will die during the day when I'm not around, and people do find them themselves, and it's upsetting, but at the end of the day, if they didn't care, they wouldn't be upset. You know, that's one of the downsides of the job, but we did what we could.
If he had been left in the wild, Miko would certainly have died, and the team have done their best, but it doesn't make the loss any easier.
We can only do what we can do. We're giving them a second chance, and a lot of the time it works, some of the time it doesn't.
Head of Birds Lorraine has been caring for Jack the Sparrow since he emerged from his egg. He's now 5 days into a course of antibiotics and seems to be on the mend.
Look at the size of Jack Sparrow here. This is amazing. I mean, he's come on so fast, and we're actually have feathers coming and his eyes open. This was a big moment. His back feathers are coming through. And it looks quite, you know, like before he's just all skin, and now he's got actual little feathers coming in it, and he's actually has a little tail.
Even though Jack is getting bigger, he still sees Lorraine as his mum. And as any mother to a newborn knows, it can be a delightful but exhausting process.
It's been a long 2 weeks. 2 weeks without any deep sleep at all, you know. I'm just like very light sleeping, you know, but it's well worth it, you know. It's so nice. Wouldn't have it any other way, would we?
And while Jack's lumpy rump is improving and doesn't seem to be affecting his growth, it's still a worry for Lorraine.
As he's grown, that's grown as well, you know. It doesn't seem to be bothering him. He doesn't seem to be bothered by it at all, you know. But we'll see how it progresses.
2 weeks later, and Jack Sparrow is a month old. Head of Birds Lorraine is going to check with her mentor Sue Morris to see if she might help with Jack's release.
Hello, Sue. It's me. Yes.
People like Sue are invaluable to the SSPCA, helping the centre when things are hectic.
I was wondering if you'd be interested in taking them on. Yes, I always knew you would say yes. Bye then, bye, bye-bye. Success. She's going to take them. Sue is an absolute hero, you know. Sue's been like a total mentor for me since the day I started working at the Wildlife Centre, and she had a lot to do with the centre back then. She used to look after all our house martins, but now she helps us out with little special cases. and special releases and things. And I couldn't think of a better place for Jack to be released than Sue's garden.
Now Lorraine has a 90-minute drive to get to Sue's.
This is Jack Sparrow and his little crew of 4 other sparrows leaving the centre. Yes, we're free. I'm glad that they're out, you know, because it's so busy, and it's good to get them moving on to the next stage, which is getting them basically ready to get released.
Sue's home is a converted mill in eastern Scotland.
Hello. Made it.
Been a few days.
Hello, I've been a wee while. How you
busy,
doing?
huh?
Oh, it's been really busy, like insanely busy.
Jack and his new pals are desperate to see their new home.
Well, you know, taking Jack Sparrow to Sue's, she's got a really nice aviary set up in her stables. So we thought if we get him in there, it's nice and protected. It's a really nice big aviary as well, and it lets him see where he's going to get released. We were going to put him outside into our outdoor aviary, but it probably wouldn't have been big enough. He's a little bit sort of exposed as well, so using the indoor one was the best of both worlds, and she had it all set up beautifully. She had it looking really nice.
It's hard to believe that just a few weeks ago Jack was a bald, blind lump. Now look at him. And after all that mothering, Lorraine and Jack still share a special bond.
That's Jack. This is Jack. Hey, is this good? This is much better, isn't it?
Is that the little guy who says I'm hungry?
Yeah, that's the wee young one.
Oh,
yeah.
We're going to get on all right.
Jack and his pals will spend a few days in this transitional aviary to get a taste of what's ahead.
Sometimes it's better to let them have like a little taster of what it's going to be like instead of actually being shoved right outside straight away. So they're going to get like the temperature thing and hearing all the sights and the sounds and the sights of outside and everything. So basically it's going to be, you know, just getting them settled for a couple of days in there. It's more cosy. It's more like what they're used to, you know, than shoving them out, you know, kicking them out.
Before her squirrels can be released, Sheila needs to be sure they've got the skills to survive in the wild. Since they behave so differently when she's around them, she's rigged up some camera traps to monitor their behaviour. And she's got some other members of the mammal team together to watch the footage.
Oh my God!
Look how messy they are.
I know.
Oh, look at that face. Do they pick out the bits in the mix that they don't like, or do they just eat it all?
No, they pick out the good bits. And they test them. Look at them all. They could be tidy and like throw the shells out, but they just put them back in there. Oh, I've been here all day. I'm still in that corner just eating. Oh, another day. What a lovely aviary, Sheila.
Look at this. Nick, I'm going to set up an Oh my God,
they look just like all the same.
Oh my God. I mean, with those guys, it was quite a long process. I had them for anyway, and we introduced others with them too. So the activity with them amongst each other is just great. So they didn't really need me in the end up, so that was nice. But to watch them, just the contact and obviously just eating all day long, it's just really quite funny to watch them.
After almost 12 weeks in her care, the time has arrived for Sheila's 5 red squirrels to be released back into the wild.
So we're taking the 5 squirrels up north to a release site that we use. It's really good. We've got a good population of squirrels. Always get a wee bit nervous, and it's you know, that it's not going to go as planned. But I mean, we give them the best possible kind of start anyway. Generally, and we try and get them on kind of a good big tree. It doesn't always go to plan. One of them will just run straight by the tree and just keep on going through the woods. But I mean, these things happen.
The location that we use for their release, it's amazing. It's just got everything that they need around them, as well as having a really good landowner who monitors the squirrels. It makes me feel good to know that they're going there.
They're being released on a site that has been used before. There's a plentiful supply of nuts and berries, and a ready-made red squirrel population to play with.
I'm just trying to get them as close to the tree as possible, and then I'll just basically open up the top and hope for the best. It's quite an open kind of space, so I'm hoping they just go straight for the tree.
That's the first one out. Then another. One more slips away. And a fourth. Finally, the last one disappears into the woods.
It would have been ideal if all 5 squirrels had went on the nice oak tree right here. But I mean, it's nice enough that we can see a few of them up and about, you know, jumping from branch to branch is, you know, it's a good ending.
Scotland is home to 75% of the UK's red squirrels. Every one that goes back to the wild helps bolster this critical population.
They all done their different things, which is fine. But then after, so we did get contact with the landowner, and she gave us good feedback. She can obviously tell the new ones coming in, and it's just nice to know that they are surviving.
Finally, after 6 weeks, the time has come for Jack Sparrow to be released.
So, Sue, how is he getting on then?
He's doing a storm. He was very sort of sociable to start with, kept coming up and saying hello and what am I doing?
Yeah.
But after a couple of days, he becomes a wild bird. Look at the cobwebs from last year and the year before and the year before that.
Time for Jack and his friends to taste freedom for the first time.
Good luck, guys.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Every release is an achievement for the staff at the centre, and every successful one a point of pride.
If it goes wrong at this stage,
Yeah,
every
it's like a
effort that you've
disaster.
put into it since day one is wasted. So you've got to get the release right.
There we are, one's out.
One by one, the birds summon up the courage to explore their new surroundings.
Come on, there's another one out. That's 4.
It's just Jack left now. And soon enough, he takes his first steps into the big wide world.
I think that's Jack definitely come out now. That's them all out. It took a little bit of encouragement, just like a big emotional moment. I couldn't think of a better place for Jack Sparrow to spend his life than in Sue's garden. It's just the best place. Seeing Jack Sparrow get released out the aviary was just a perfect ending.
For Sue, who's spent her life rehabilitating birds, it's a solid result.
whether it's a sparrow or a swift or some exotic something, it doesn't matter. If you've got something to the state that it can go into a secure, sensible place, no feeling like it. It makes it all worth it.
6 weeks of sleepless nights and around-the-clock care have taken their toll on Lorraine. But now she can bask in the satisfaction of a job well done.
Now I remember why I do this job, you know, because it can really push you, you know, but for moments like this, and to have it all recorded and to let other people see what happens, because nobody ever gets to see this, you know.
Next time on Born to be Wild, April takes charge of a herd of young fawns.
I just have so much love for them.
You guys let him have his first.
It's a critical time for a newborn hedgehog.
You know, they can go downhill fast.
And Warren the weasel struggles to make friends.
I'm scared.
It'll just take time.